All right, we have finally made it to the last section of Chapter 5. So feel happy about it. And by the way, this is a little bit easier, I think, than actually 5.4. So don't be worried that this is going to be crazy hard. Look, we've only got 8 slides to get through. Pretty painless. Make sure you have your identity sheets, of course, handy. These multiple angle identities are going to be on the back side of them. But of course, I've got them here on your notes for you. We are using what's called this double angle formulas. So if you take a look, obviously sine, cos, and tan, double angle multiplying by 2. So sine of a double angle is kind of how we reference that instead of saying sine 2u, sine of a double angle. 2 times the sine of the angle times the cosine. Now notice there's 3 different versions here for cos of a double angle, and it depends on the problem and which one we use. Because it just depends, maybe there's sine in it, so I might want to use this first one. Cosine squared minus sine squared. Now, how do you generate the other 2? Remember, cosine squared, there's also the Pythagorean for it, 1 minus sine squared. So if you replace that with 1 minus sine squared and simplify, you get that last one. Same thing, sine squared is a Pythagorean, 1 minus cos squared. If you put 1 minus cos squared in there and simplify, you get this guy here. So it's just all of the different versions are all on your sheet in front of you. You don't have to have them memorized, but we might use all of them today. And then, of course, last one's tan of a double angle, 2 times the tan of the angle over 1 minus tangent squared. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So first, start with some easy. Review. Use the figure and the exact value of the trigonometric function. So review, meaning A, sine. Sine, plain old boring sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite the angle 3, hypotenuse 5. I like that, no work needed. It's cosine, again, review. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. So our adjacent side to our angle, of course, 4, hypotenuse, still 5. Now, cos of a double angle. Here's our new one. So you have choice on cos of a double angle, which one of those you want to use. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to use the very first one. I'm going to use cosine squared minus sine squared because I have both of those. Cosine squared, cos is 4/5, so I'm going to square that, minus sine squared. Sine was my answer in part A. So we started off with those, always a method to the madness here. Now I'm going to do the fraction work, of course. I'm going to square everything. 4 squared, 5 squared, 3 squared, 5 squared. And then I'm just going to simplify. 16 25ths minus 9 25ths, 7 25ths. Got it. And of course you can do the fraction work on your calculator. I just did it by hand. All right, sine of a double angle. Again, flash it back. 2 times the sine times the cosine. 2 times the sine, that was our answer in A, times the cosine, our answer in B. And if you want everything in fraction form, remember 2, of course, 2 over 1. And then I'm just going to multiply straight across. 2 times 3 times 4. On the top, I'm going to have 24. On the bottom, 1 times 5 times 5. Does it reduce? We are done. All right, tan of a double angle. That, of course, on the formula sheet, just to show you one more time, 2 times the tangent over 1 minus tangent squared. So 2 times the tan. Tan, of course, opposite over adjacent. So tan, I'm just going to jot it above. Tan, of course, opposite adjacent, opposite 3, adjacent 4. So 2 times 3/4, and then over 1 minus tangent squared. Now we just have to, of course, do the fraction work. 2 times 3/4, let's simplify that. 2 goes into the 4 2 times, so I'm going to have 3 halves on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to square out the 3, square out the 4. And then I'm going to simplify. 1, of course, is equivalent to 16 sixteenths. So 16 sixteenths minus 9 sixteenths, of course, 7 sixteenths. And again, you can do all the fraction work on your calculator. I won't be upset with you. Okay, when you divide 2 fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to reduce. 2 goes into 16 8. So I'm going to end up with 3 times 8, 24 over 7. I did all the fraction work by hand. You can always use your calculator. Now, notice, of course, on our formulas, we gave you sine of a double angle, cos of a double angle, tan. Now I want secant. Well, clearly, that's the reciprocal of cosine. So I'm going to take my cos of a double angle answer, 7 over 25, and just do the reciprocal. Like it? Cosecant, of course, the reciprocal of sine. So I'm going to take my sine of a double angle answer and do the reciprocal. And same for cotan of a double angle. I'm going to do the reciprocal of that tan answer. I did all that fraction work, 7/24. So a little bit of fraction work's about as bad as it gets, but again, you can always use your calculators if you have to. Okay, find the exact solutions algebraically in the interval 0 to 2 pi. So they want us, of course, to have our answers in radians. Now, first problem, you can't just factor out a cosine if you're thinking about it. The first expression is a double angle. The second expression is just 1x. They're not the same thing. So I'm going to use one of my identities. So cos of a double angle. So let's go back to that first slide here and take a look at our formulas. You've got the 3 choices for it. How do you know which one to use? Well, I'm going to use this blue one that's circled in the middle just because I see we have a cosine in the equation. So it's nice to have everything in the same trig function. I don't want sine mixed up in there. So I'm going to use that middle blue one. I'm going to rewrite it as 2 cos squared minus 1. Of course, I'm going to use x, of course. So let's rewrite it. 2 cosine squared of x minus 1. So that's up the identity. I'm just going to copy everything else down. All right, we have ourselves, of course, a quadratic. So we want to have, of course, our quadratic term in the front, then the linear term. So I'm going to put cos of x and minus 1 at the back. Now, quadratic, one of our favorite ways to solve quadratics and our favorite F words in math, factoring. I'm going to factor out this trinomial, lead coefficient 2. So I've got to multiply the outside 2 numbers and figure out what multiplies to -2 and adds to the middle coefficient. Got it? Don't forget you both of those by the lead coefficient. So 2 over 2, 1. So my first factor is just going to be cos of x plus 1. And then the fraction, don't forget the denominator goes in front of the variable, and then the numerator. We're going to set each factor to 0 and solve. So in this first factor, when I get cos of x alone, you would subtract your 1 over. And then when I do the second factor, I would have to add the 1, divide by 2. Now, we're in a flashback to section 5.3, solving these equations. The x represents the variable of the angle. I am asking you what angle has a cosine that would turn out to be -1. So I'm thinking about all students take calculus, or maybe even, of course, one of the quadrant angles. So let's talk cos x equals -1. So if I think of that in a fraction form, like, I can't have adjacent and hypotenuse being the same. The hypotenuse has to be the biggest. So clearly not a triangle. Doesn't mean I'm giving up. I'm thinking it's going to be one or more of our quadrant angles. So I'm going to label all our points. And remember the 1 comes from, because we're on a unit circle, radius of 1. 1 up, 1 down, 1 left, 1 right. And the cosine coordinate, of course, is our first coordinate, the x coordinate. Cos of x, -1 on the left point, which, of course, in radians, that's pi. 180 degrees, pi in radians. So this is my first answer. Okay, cos of x equals 1/2. So again, this time I can draw a triangle because the hypotenuse would be bigger. To figure out where, I have to think about that all students take calculus. Just can't get away from that. So cosine's positive in 1 and 4. So that's where we're going to draw our triangles. So of course, cosine, adjacent, hypotenuse. For the sake of knowledge, our missing side would be √3. Now, most important, what's the angle aside across from the side that measures square root of 3? That is our 60-degree angle. That is what we're after. Now, you can label all the sides. I want the 60. That's what I'm after. So, of course, my first answer is just going to be the 60 degrees, which we're going to multiply by pi over 180 and convert it to radians. Got it. Don't forget, for your second answer, you have to measure from 0 clear around. Well, you would have covered 270 degrees and 30 more. So 300, and then convert that into radians, you end up with 5 pi over 3. All students take calculus, it's just always there. Okay, so sine of a double angle plus cos of an angle. So first we want to use our identity for sine of a double angle. So it's on the top of your sheet there. I'm going to rewrite it as 2x cos x. Now they're both cos of x in there. We can factor out a greatest common factor. Can't get rid of the factoring. So to get our first term back, we're going to need a 2 and a sign. Don't forget 1 to hold the place to get your second term. Now, just like the last problem, I'm going to set both factors to 0. And then when I set sine of x to 0 and solve for sine of x, I'd have to subtract the 1, divide off the 2. So cos of x equals 0, of course, we won't be able to generate a triangle. So it's going to be one or more of those quadrant angles. And specifically, it will be our top and bottom ones because remember, cosine is your first coordinate. So the top and bottom, of course, 0. Now they want the answers in radians. The top point's 90 degrees. I'm going to list that in radians. Bottom point 270 degrees, which of course in radian, 3 pi over 2. Got it. Again, we're going to have to use our all students take calculus and get our triangles drawn for sine of x equals -1/2. Okay, the key, where to draw the triangles. Well, if sine is positive in 1 and 2, we're going to eliminate those. If it's positive in 1 and 2, you're going to have to be negative in 3 and 4. So I'm going to start drawing the triangle in 3. And of course, sine, opposite, hypotenuse. Missing side would be √3. I just put the negative on the √3 due to being on the left side of the x-axis, the negatives. Key question, what's the angle across from the side that measures 1? That is our 30 degrees. That's what I need to know. And of course, you can label all the sides, but I'm after the 30. So my first answer, of course, we have to measure from 0, clear around to quadrant 3. So I'd cover 180 and 30 more, 210. And then we're going to convert that into radians with your pi over 180. You end up with a simplified answer, 7 pi over 6. Then we're going to measure from 0, clear around to quadrant 4. Well, you would have had to cover 270 and, of course, 60 more, so 330. And you convert that into radians, 11 pi over 6. All right, we are on the home stretch, my friends. Find the exact values of sine 2u, cos 2u, tan 2u by using the double angle formula. And this is key. They are telling you which quadrant to draw these in. Remember, pi over 2 is 90 degrees, pi 180. So more than 90, less than 180. You should know right now what quadrant we're drawing the triangle in. So, greater than 90, less than 180. We're going to be in quadrant 2. Now, cos of u, you have a cosine, so we know adjacent, and then, of course, hypotenuse. Now, we're going to need the missing side, so I'm going to go ahead right away and find that. So I'm just going to do Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus -2 squared equals 7 squared. -2 squared, of course, 4. 7 squared, 49. Let's subtract the 4 off, and then square root it. Now I'm going to simplify the square root of 45, of course. 9 times 5 is 45, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I'm going to label it up here, 3 square roots of 5. All right, now that we have all the sides, we are ready to go. So they want sine of a double angle. So first, our formula, 2 times the sine times the cos. So sine, SOHCAHTOA, sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent, hypotenuse. I'm going to make that front 2 over 1, and we're just going to multiply, of course, all the way across. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times -2. 6 times -2, -12 square roots of 5. And then, of course, on the denominator, 1 times 7 times 7, 49. Got it. Okay, let's next do, let's do cos. We'll just do them in order. Cos of a double angle. Now, it doesn't matter which formula you use out of the 3. Doesn't matter at all. Mix it up. I'm going to do 2 cosine squared of u minus 1. You use whatever you like. Cos of u, of course, cos was that -2/7. And now I'm just going to evaluate this. Order of operations, exponent first. So I'm going to square this out. -2 squared, 7 squared. 2 times 4, I'm going to make that 8 49ths. Now, 1 is equivalent to 49 49ths. Let's go ahead and write that common denominator style. 8 49ths minus 49 49ths, -41 49ths. Last up, tan of 2u. Only one formula for that guy. So remember, tan of 2u, of course, 2 tan of u over 1 minus tan u squared. All right, let's set it up. So 2 times the tangent. I'm going to look over to the left to the triangle. Tangent TOA, opposite over adjacent. So 3 square roots of 5 over -2. And then on the bottom, of course, I'm going to do 3 square roots of 5 squared. Okay, let's calculate it out. Now it's just a ginormous fraction problem. Let's try to simplify. On the top, of course, the 2's are going to cancel out, so that's kind of nice. We're just left with a negative 3 square roots of 5. On the bottom, I'm going to square out everything in the parentheses. I'm going to square out the 3. Square root, cancels, negative 2 squared, 4. So on the top, still negative 3 root 5. On the bottom, I'm going to have 1 minus 9 times 5, of course, 45 over 4. Now, 1 is equivalent to 4 over 4. 4 fourths minus 45 fourths. It's going to be negative, let me get the top written in. 4 fourths minus 45 fourths, negative 41 fourths. 2 negatives make a positive. I'm running out of room. And of course, when you divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. Am I putting a square root? How about just over 41? Running out of room. Okay. Got it. So on the top, I'm going to have 12 square roots of 5. Denominator, 41. I'm going to squeeze in the fraction work there. And you can always, again, use your calculators for some of the fraction work. I just did it by hand just to show everything. So difficult? No. Time consuming? Yes, just to have to do some of the fraction work for sure. But not crazy difficult. Let's end on a nice easy one. Use a double angle identity to rewrite the expression. Well, the first thing I see is the 4 and the 8. None of our double angle identities have 4 or 8 in them. Obviously, there's commonality between 4 and 8. I'm going to factor a 4 out as the greatest common factor. Oh, okay, got it. 1 minus 2 sine squared is the double angle for cosine. And then just don't forget, we took that 4 out of the front. Done. So just when you think it's going to be something crazy hard, it's not. All right. Enjoy working on your homework, of course. Be careful with your fraction work. You're welcome to use your calculators if on the fractions, no judgment, of course, but do what you got to do. Answers in simplified fractions, however you need to get them there, make it happen. All right, have yourselves a great day.